Calgary will have its municipal elections on October 18th, 2021, this year, and many candidates are already declaring their intention to run in this election. On TC San, we'll be speaking to these candidates and learning their stories, their journeys, and their motivations to run for public office. Last month, I'd spoken to Jyoti Gondik, who's currently Ward 3 councillor and is running for mayor. Link for that interview is in the caption up here. And today I will be speaking to Aryan Sadat, who is running to be a councillor in Ward 5. Ward 5 in Calgary includes the communities of Castle Ridge, Falcon Ridge, Martindale, Taradale, Settle Ridge, Cityscape, Skyview Ranch, Redstone, and Cornerstone. And the incumbent councillor in Ward 5 is George Chahal. We'll speak to Councillor Chahal next week. Aryan Sadat had previously run for the same position in the same ward in 2017 municipal election as well. Please welcome Aryan Sadat, a lawyer, a community worker, and now a candidate for Calgary Ward 5 councillor. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking, and thanks for having me here.
Thank you for taking the time to be here today. And thank you for putting your name to run again. So exciting.
As I said, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. And I guess anyone who puts their name forward for a public office, it should be exciting, and it should be encouragement for other fellow Calgarians to see if they're running for a good cause.
Yeah, so the last time was 2017, the municipal election in the same ward that you're running in now. And you had a good vote share at that time too. If I have it here, 23.1%, and you came in second at that time. Do you want to talk about that experience, how that was?
Well, that was my first experience, and of course, running, putting your name forward in public office, it's not easy. It needs a lot of work, and it needs a lot of encouragement from the community and also from your family. So it was a good experience. I made a lot of good new friends, and I'm still friends with them. And we help each other on a daily basis. Now, if there is anything I could do in my capacity, even though I was not elected, as you said, I came second.
But you did mention, I read it on your website, you mentioned that the campaign for the 2017 municipal election was only 5 weeks.
That's correct. What happened was that in 2017, I started very late, and that did not give us enough time in terms of to actually go and door knock enough areas. So it was like in total between 5 to 6 weeks. So I just want to be on the record, because since we're on the record, I want to be clear on this. So yeah, I had 6 weeks, and then of course you've been in politics, and anyone who puts their name forward, they have to strategize and see what votes they're looking for and what number. And to be honest with you, we were aiming for 35 to 4,000 votes, and the vote that we got, I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of my team, and we're at it for a rematch.
Yeah, you are. I will ask you that further into the conversation as to why you chose the same ward again when you had opportunity in other wards. Right now, Ward 10 and Ward 3 are open. Why did you go back to Ward 10? Ward 5. But we'll get to it soon enough. Before that, I want to mention to our audience that today we're just going to talk to Aryan to get to know Aryan more than we're not going to be talking about Aryan's political platform yet. That time will come to closer to the election, which is in October this year. So we will talk more about that later. But today we just want to get to know you. So I'm going to start with your website. You have a quote here. I had a second chance at life. Now I'm paying it forward. What does that mean?
Well, it has a lot of meaning to it. So, of course, if I just start, it will take long. So I'm going to make it very simple. I believe in life, everyone makes mistakes. And I believe in life, everyone deserves a second chance. And then when the second chance comes to you, you should grab it, seal it, and be something. That's what I did. And I learned from past mistakes, or when I was young, I'm talking about back in high school days. And of course, no one is perfect. And I believe everyone's working towards being a good person. And well, when I was making that website, even though that's a professional website, being a lawyer, website. I put that. That's actually I came up with that because I'm not proud of what I did back in high school, but I'm proud of who I am right now. And life did give me a second chance. And as a matter of fact, I was actually drowned back in 2006. So that was my second chance. And it was a wake up call for me to be and make my parents proud. And having an immigrant family come from another country with no knowledge of what to do, you're lost. And that's another reason, which we will come back to that, why I choose Ward 5.
What would you tell your 18, 17, 18, 19-year-old self today? So what would you, if you could go back and talk to that Aryan, so what would you tell him?
I wish someone, as a matter of fact, of course, I cannot share this. I'm working with youth at risk in terms of when I say youth at risk, I don't have any nonprofit organization. But when I see a youth in trouble, I actually go and sit down with them and I share my personal life story to them. And when I share my story, at the beginning, they don't really, it's shocking to them because they say, okay, well, how's that even possible? Like now you're a lawyer, you're practicing, and you're actually, as a matter of fact, few of them were even my clients. Of course, I cannot disclose the name or anything about them, but it's just the youth. When I see that they need that help, I go and I just have a chat with them. The best feeling is that their parents pick up the phone and call me, hey, you want to know something, Aryan? What? Yeah, tell me. It's the dad. My son wants to be a lawyer now. That's the best feeling. And then when I come home and I share this with my nephew, niece, and my family, they just get say, well, good job. See, that's what we wanted to do. Don't go to politics. Stay in this. Just help people. That's that's what they're.
Why does it sound so familiar? That's the same.
Exactly.
Story. My mom was dead against me even stepping into politics. My dad did not want me to anywhere near politics.
My mom was like, look, you make good money per hour. Like, why? And then, of course, I had to sit down with them. Of course, I'm not going to make any decision without consulting with my parents. And the reason I'm putting this forward in live here is that I think, despite the fact that our parents are immigrants, they still have the life experience. We should listen to them and we should take into consideration what they're telling us. Maybe they're not right in this one way, but they're right in 5, 6 other ways where it will help you in future. And when I look back, answering your question about my quote that life gave me a second chance and I'm gonna pay it forward now. When I look at that, I always look, and there's not even one night, and I always pray to God. I say, I'm so glad that I have my parents on my side. And one thing I want to change in life is to go back. I should have listened to my parents. That's one mistake in life that I regret. But other than that whatever I went through actually made me the person who I am right now. And I learned from that experience there.
And how do they feel about you today, now that you're a lawyer, a successful lawyer?
Well, as I said, they feel good, and they just, as a matter of fact, when I was approached, and I'm sorry, it is a little bit, since you did mention that this is not going to be political, but it is going political because I was getting a lot of calls from community leaders, and as a matter of fact, the best feeling was that people actually call me and say that, look, Aryan, we made a mistake last time. We were told something else, but can you not go to 10 and come to 5? And my answer to them was, I'm like, I haven't even decided where I'm going. So let's just stay calm. And then the encouragement from the community was there. And then finally, I was able to convince them that, hey, I think I'm going to give it a try, and I have my reasons. And of course, when we have another talk about that, I'll tell you more what are my platform and why I want to put this forward.
So going back to high school, you said you were not in good company and you were not doing very well. You dropped out of high school. When did you come back to high school? And were you already committed to becoming a lawyer at that time when you came back to high school? Or did you just come back to finish your high school and then you decided to become a lawyer at a later time?
Well, that's a good question. That was and when I was dropped out from high school, I didn't finish high school. That's what I meant to say. I want to make that clarification that I was. So I decided, as I mentioned earlier, that there was an incident where I was drowned, and so that changed my life. And I looked, because if you allow me, I want to share this so your listener can actually. I was actually at ICU in with Edmonton. I think it was University of Alberta Hospital, I believe. I don't know the name exactly, so we will figure that out what the name is. I was with my friends, and then of course I was there. And for 5 or 6 days, I didn't even talk to my parents, nothing, because I was just out partying, having fun, whatever thing I think at the time was good to do, and then feel cool about it. I was at ICU, and then the next thing, the doctor has actually called my parents and says that there's only 5% of him surviving, and otherwise you get a call. That's what they said to my friends. And my friend were so scared to call my parents, but finally they had no choice. So my mom came, and then I was actually on that ICU bed, and then the tears just came right on my face, and then I opened my eye, and the doctors actually thought that this is miracle. And then the doctor came and asked my name. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And I'm shocked. I'm like, I see my mom crying, my dad crying, my brother, my sister. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing something right. So I need to change. I need to do and make them. I'm never going to put them in this position. Since then, I changed. And when I look back, I'm like, I don't even have a high school degree. What am I going to do? I mean, diploma, sorry. So I went and got my high school diploma. Then I started at Mount Royal University at that time. They changed that. I did some courses there, and then, of course, you still have to do living and work. So I was doing that. Then finally, I decided, I'm like, I want to do something for the community. And what I went through, I don't want anyone else to go. What if I lost my life at that time? So I said, you know what? The best thing is to go know the law and actually help. As a matter of fact, I actually wanted to be a lawyer from very beginning, but when I used to tell people that I want to be a lawyer, they were laughing at me, and they were telling me that like, just get out of my face, like, that's what are you talking about? Let's get real, let's go, whatever, you know what I mean? That's the story I have, and I'm sharing that, and I'm not proud of that story, but I'm proud of it right now because it's having a lot of impact to the community, especially in Ward 5. Because when I'm talking to that diverse community, I think my talk actually changed their perspective of these youths. And because a lot of them right now, if we go all the crimes, everything happening in Ward 5, you see a 18 or 16 years old carrying weapon. That's not what it is. They should be concentrating to our school and studies, and we should prepare some sort of program for them. So these are the reasons, those are the stuff that actually encouraged me to be who I am today.
All right, let's come to the most important question of the night. Why Ward 5? Because we have a councillor there, George Chahal. So why choose Ward 5?
Well, that's like a $1 million question, and I'm gonna give you hopefully something close to that. In answering your question, I have a connection with Ward 5. I understand the issues in Ward 5. I do understand that the current council tried its best, but I believe I can do more. There is a lot of changes that needs to be done. There's a lot of transparency that needs to be done. Ward 5 has been neglected for past 15 to 20 years now. It was a hope that maybe the new councillor will make the changes. A good example that I will give you, this is not a direct attack at the current councillor, but what it is, for example, consultation. I believe, I don't want this to be political now, but I just want to make sure, because it's related to your question, we want to make sure the consultation is there. The flyover bridge, residents were not even consulted till they actually received in mailbox saying that there's a bridge coming 4 hours down the road from you, where they actually, and those are the immigrant family that work hard to pay for the property. This is their first property. And I understand that that bridge is just going to help them for the emergency, but it could change down the road. Now, they're going to lose, potentially, they may lose value in their properties. So that, and also my connection in terms of, I started my high school in Ward 5. I lived in Ward 5. I pray in Ward 5. And I have my friends that goes and worship in different areas, different communities. Those are the reason in Ward 5. And I think at the end, I want to close this answer by saying that I think I can make good impact for Ward 5, in my view, I believe.
What are the 3 top things that you would like to change from what is happening currently?
Well, the first thing that I believe is the safer communities. That should be our first priority for council. If I get elected, I will make sure that there's more police engagement with the community, more education in terms of connection between the Calgary police and the new communities, and the connection with the new immigrants, because they have a different perspective with the police, the way they come from different countries. We need to make sure we build that relationship. We need to make sure that we have school resources officers to actually go and encourage these students, these youths that they're being bullied. I was bullied in high school. That's my personal story. That's why I wasn't going to class, because I couldn't speak English properly. People were making fun of me. And then I get in trouble standing for my rights. That we need to build that connection. And then lowering property taxes. Now, lowering property taxes, we need to make sure that we cut wasteful spending. Like, we need to work on the needs and necessity of the residents, not on want. And also the transparency is the key. And then, of course, during the period of our campaign, we'll be putting that forward as what transparency we're talking about. A good example is lack of consultation. So these are the things that I'm putting it myself forward for Ward 5. But at the same time, I want to make one thing clear. I'm not a career politician. The reason I put my name forward is because I want to serve the community. It's up to Ward 5 residents to make that decision. If they want to have the repetitive, as you said, maybe in some view, the councillor is doing an awesome job. And then in my view, when I'm talking for past 6 to 12 months, people are not happy. So I guess we will decide that on October 18th.
So when does campaign start?
Well, campaign, I made my announcement on March 2nd, and we are working towards, the website is up and running. If anyone wants to know more about me, my cell phone is there. I can actually be reached and talk to them. The actual door knocking, we want to respect the current the current COVID restriction. Once that's lifted, we will be strategize our campaign accordingly to go door knock and interact with people. I do want to add, I don't like the easy fight. I like the uphill battle, and I'm ready for it.
Oh, you got that right. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be an easy fight. It's going to be a lot of fun, too, for us sitting on the sidelines and watching it. Because, like I said, having an incumbent there is always a challenge. So I'm glad that you're up to it. It's excellent.
I was aware in the history of Calgary, I believe it was only 3 incumbents were kicked out. I want to make this one the 4th one. So I hope on the...
I'm actually going to talk to George Hall next week.
You should.
Yeah, I'm having a conversation with George Hall next week too. So I'll see what he has to say, and I'll clip both your interviews and I'll put them together.
Well, no, I know the issues, and I'm not saying the current council has not done anything, but I think I can do more. I believe I can do more. That's all.
I love the spirit. I love the spirit. It's healthy. It's competition. It has to be there.
And I want to keep it positive, right?
Keep it positive.
I want to keep it positive.
We'll see what happens. It happens.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us, and I'm sure we'll talk again. We'll talk closer to your campaign, and I wish you all the best.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.